thousands of years, we have been at war. But before, we were enemies. We were like brothers. You ready?
Always ready. Let's punch in. Hey, watch where you're going!
What did you say?
It's not like he can transform.
Hey, Darkwing!
Don't.
My finger can transform. Guess which one?
Allow me.
I appreciate you having my back.
No matter what.
What is that?
Sending location coordinates.
We're under attack!
It's an SOS message from the surface.
Fantastic.
It's time to show them we are more than meets the eye.
A cave with teeth. Nothing scary about that. Holy Primus.
I see strength in you. Take these and access your full potential.
He can transform now!
How do we use these things?
Come on!
My head.
How you choose to use this power is up to you. We roll out.
What?
Louder.
Transform and roll out! I want to help build a better world.
Like you said, we can be so much more.
Maybe it's just me, but he's different.
Yeah, no, I picked up on that.
I picked up on that too.
What happened to my best friend?
Burn it down! All of it!
We have to stop him.
We could have built the future together.
I don't think so.
Decepticons! Rise up!
Incoming!
Come on!
Awesome!
That's what I'm talking about.
Now is the time for us to stand up. Together. As one.
Look, that's Starscream, and you're Shockwave and Soundwave.
Enough!
Gosh, raise your hand if Wave is in your name. There's a lot of Waves.
Boom, there you go. That was a trailer for Transformers 1. You got to roll out, y'all. September 20th, Friday. It appears in theaters. It's your boy KP, Nerds Rule the World. I'm all over the place. I'm not transforming right. Joining me to talk all things Transformers, Autobots, Decepticons. My pal, Heather. How are you, Heather?
No Decepticons yet.
Not yet, yes. Especially because this is G1. This is the before times, before they were even having the ability to transform. How are you? Let's talk all things Transformers and all that.
Sure. I will talk about the 3.5 minutes of knowledge I have on this subject. I will happily do it with you.
Yeah. So yeah, basically, when coming into this, let's talk about coming into this. Did you see? Were you a fan? I think I already know the answer. Were you a fan of the previous Bay films, the lone Bumblebee film? Then we had like the newest one called Rise of the Beast last year. We also had an 80s animated series, and the pinnacle of Transformers cartoon films for a lot of folks, so me, was Transformers the movie with Leonard Nimoy in there as part of the voice cast. I believe Orson Welles was part of the voice cast, if I'm not mistaken. Some heavyweights in there. That was like the pinnacle Transformers animated film. Until now, maybe. Were you a Transformers fan?
I mean, everyone has to love the 80s.
And the toys and comic books.
And the toys and comics. You have to enjoy, if you're a nerd of any level, there are certain things that you have to enjoy. I think it's legally, like it's by law, you have to enjoy them. So the Transformers 80s film is one of those important movies in every nerd's life. So I do love it. Am I that into the canon? No, not really. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, nerds out there. I'm just not. I love the toys. The toys are a lot of fun. I mean, I guess I could say I love the toys as much as I could. You know, I got them when they were at McDonald's when I was a kid. I enjoyed the original Bay films. I know they were stupid, but they were like that fun stupid until it got to 3, and then it just got weird.
Until it got to 2 for me.
That's true. It was like borderline 2 for me, but like 3 was just a step too far. And I was like,
off
all
the
right,
rails.
But I will say that I kind of fell off the Transformers movie train. Basically, kind of after they rebooted or whatever at the 4th film. I have not seen Bumblebee, even though everyone tells me that's one of the best.
Yeah.
All of them. I just haven't seen it yet. It's one of those movies that because I'm not a huge fan, it's not at the top of my list. But it's one of those where oh yeah, I gotta watch that. I gotta watch that. When it comes to the comics themselves, do I support comics at every nerdy level? Absolutely. Am I reading them? Not unless there's a crossover involved. Sorry to tell y'all, I'm just not. So when I came into this movie, I won't deny, and I said this in, if y'all watch the weekly, which y'all should, because Kuya P and I, if you want to see us just be an absolute mess, that's where you need to watch us.
Complete mess.
But if y'all watch the weekly, my husband and I had other plans that day. We were going to do a whole bunch of stuff. We were questioning on if we were even going to go to this movie because we had just no interest to. And we walked out of this just eating our words, eating our whole damn words. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing, Heather. For me, grew up on all those things that I talked about. Didn't really read the comic book too much. There was like the Marvel series, and then there was the IDW, I think, picked it up.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot going on. And I don't know if the art was always hitting sometimes, or at least not for me, if you will. I know there was fans that really were hardcore, and I love that. Not everything's going to be for everybody. Toys, obviously phenomenal. They've always done great with the toys. The various iterations we've gotten have been fun. The cartoons series has been fun. Like I said, with the live action, the OG Bay one, the first one was fine. The rest fell off. It then picked up with Bumblebee, and then to me, Rise of the Beast kind of took it to the next arena afterwards. And so I'm excited for where we're gonna go post Rise of the Beast with live action. But this Transformers 1, y'all, and I'm about to break it down in just a second, though, and we'll get down into the review. To me, has now given us the best of the best in regards to the animated side, and I hate to say that over Transformers the movie because freaking Leonard Nimoy, man, like Orson Welles, just like they had a spectacular voice cast, and the OG voice cast from the cartoon series. Frank Welker, Peter Cullen will always be those voices. They even did it with the live actions. They brought those guys back, and they will be our Optimus and Megatron. But this one, it was interesting, even though I don't know, still kind of with Hemsworth. I'm still like Heather when we talk about like animation and voice actors. We know they're going for the name recognition by putting in Chris Hemsworth, Brian Tyree Henry, and Keegan-Michael Key, who I don't know about that one. That one kind of like stole the show.
I love Key in every role. So, and the thing is, he also knows how to do voices. There's a big difference.
He kind of funnels that line between name recognition. Well, he's it because he knows how to play with his voice.
He's got a range. Whereas the worst Chris, which actually was one of the reasons my husband, and this is actually a great example, going on a quick tangent, this is actually a great example as to why you shouldn't have voice recognition. One, most people don't even know who's in there. There isn't like an abundance of trailers for this. So Chris Hemsworth's name isn't everywhere. My husband literally thought this was not, he thought it was the other Chris, the one who does way too much. It's always his damn voice, no voice change. And it shows that you shouldn't need big recognition to have great voice acting, because that's what they do. Voice actors do this. We have a lot of great interviews on this channel with amazing voice actors, and you get to see, they actually like demonstrate how they do it. You don't get that when you're acting. You don't always get that ability to transition and use your voices in different ways. And two, when you get mixed up with the wrong Chris constantly, do you really want to put your name on some of these projects?
All right. I agree with Heather. So we'll get into that. We're gonna, because I think I'm blurring a little too much how we kind of do our intros, because along with the review portion right now. So yeah, we are fans of Transformers. You know, we may not be the super fans, but we are fans of this property, this IP. So let's break it down. Let's break down this cast, this crew. I've already kind of touched upon a little bit of the cast. Writing and directing is Josh Cooley, who came over from Pixar. He did a ton of your Pixar favorites. Go check it out. Along with the writing chores was Eric Pearson, Andrew Barrera, as well as Gabriel Ferrari. Also, which I'm not seeing on this is list was my man Bobby Rubio. He was along with Josh Cooley, came over from Pixar to Paramount to work on this project, but I don't see my man getting some of the writing credits on there. But I know that both him and Josh did a lot of the work in regards to putting this together storyline wise, but then maybe they got somebody, these other gentlemen, to help assist with the final things coming out of their mouths. So I'm just quite surprised, because I just saw that just now, having actually spoke with Bobby not too long ago, because he's a friend of the NRW and we've had on ShoPowSho. Anyway, those are your writers, your directing. As we mentioned, some of the voice cast. Chris Hemsworth is our Orion Pax, aka Optimus Prime. Brian Tyree Henry is D16, aka Megatron. Scarlett Johansson is Alita 1. We have Keegan-Michael Key as Badassatron, aka B127, aka Bumblebee. Steve Buscemi as Starscream, Laurence Fishburne as Alpha Trion, Jon Hamm as Sentinel Prime, and a host of others. I'm not going to list it all, because as always, as we say, it takes a village to make a piece of anything that we love, whether it be comic books, or feature films. So shout out to the entire cast. While we may give some love and light to a few, we are giving full love and light to everyone. So there's your cast, your crew, the story. Without spoiling, which I will do my best. As Heather knows, I could sometimes walk that fine line. It's a G1 story, y'all. We have Cybertron. We have Cybertron, good old Cybertron. Our guys, our OG, before they were Optimus, before they were Megatron. They are workers on this planet. They don't have the ability to transform yet. They're kind of just the people, these underlings that have to do the bidding of I forgot, Sentinel Prime, Jon Hamm's character, to basically help mine the Cybertron of its resources, the spark, to help their all-encompassing lord do what he needs to do to keep everyone safe. But is there an underlying plot there? The plot thickens. Yes, there is. And we go on with our characters as they find about themselves. We learn more about the relationship they had. We find out that, yeah, Optimus and Megatron were the best of buds, and very relatable into their situations and their experiences, and how they meet each other. And then we also have some shenanigans that happen along the way. I'm trying to, like, also again walk that fine line without spoiling, and it's just a great story. We never got this with all the years, or at least I personally feel. Maybe I missed out because I'm not such the diehard like everybody else, and correct me if I'm wrong, Heather. I don't think we ever got the story of these two prior to them becoming who we know them to be, and that's what I really loved about this, and how everybody interplays, and how just more important Cybertron is to everything, and where it can go now. It's very interesting. I feel completely refreshed with the Transformers franchise after this film, and very excited to see to how we get to where we know what they are previously and now, and or where they may change up, because it's a new Transformers for a new generation now, and why not? We always like to travel these roads. And again, for those that miss out or hate when they do that, you can always go back and read the stuff that you liked before. Those comics, those films, those movies, they're all still there. So there's your basic cast, your crew. I'm going to leave it alone now. Heather, what did you think of this film? Any highlights or lowlights in regards to Transformers 1?
Once again, I love a good one. I love a good year one story at any given point. They're fun to watch. They're fun to learn about. And for those of you, remember, fandoms only get better when you bring more people into the fold. So this is an opportunity to bring a lot of new people, a lot of people who didn't care, into the fold. A lot of kids. This is a great kid story. When it comes to actual events that inside that like really it's what's really great about this is the moral of the story. One, you should never put anyone on a pedestal so high that when you realize they fall, you are included in that impact. Just gonna let that sit for a second. You shouldn't put anyone on a pedestal politically ever.
You must
But
be talking about something there, hidden there, amongst the layers
it was not obvious in any way at all, ever. Not that they were actually getting into any of that. It's one of those where one of the important things about comic books, about nerdy stuff in general, is there's usually really, really, really great morals to the story. And this one had a beautiful moral about what that fine line of just devotion and trust can do, and how depending on how much you put into it, it can impact you, and how that created a severance in a very long, trusting, devoted relationship. So was there any downfalls? Honestly, not really. The pace was great. If there was something that was not great, it was quickly overshadowed by something better. So I really can't think about anything, but what was definitely brilliant was the relationship between D, I can do green screen, D and Pax. You get to see who they were, what they did, how important they were to each other, and how hard that ripple impacted them individually and together. Yeah, I think I got that right.
Yeah. I just love how we see them all meet up for the first time in a lot of ways. Again, Keegan-Michael Key stole the show. I cannot say that enough. Just is such a delight whenever he was on screen as our Bumblebee, our badassatron.
Stay after for the end, because one of his best scenes.
Yes. And Brian Tyree Henry as our Megatron. Those big shoes to fill. You know, the voice of Megatron is phenomenal. I've always been a fan of both Peter Cullen and Frank Welker. And Megatron, I was curious what Brian Tyree Henry was going to do with this role, and outstanding job. I have to say, and we were talking about Chris's earlier, and that's why I wanted to kind of push this here. You know, again, we talk about how, you know, name recognition in here. I think Brian Tyree Henry's star is there, but probably not with a lot of other people. But I think if for some of us, he's there, but worthy of the role. His voice was perfect for this. And to me, you know, we were talking about the Chris's again. Hemsworth was just okay. I don't know. Personally, it worked, but it also didn't seem like him. Like he was really trying to cover up that Australian accent. And it developed, though, throughout the film to something closer to where we know Optimus to be. We wanted to see that growth, but it was just kind of awkward. So, you know, I think with it being a true voice actor, we kind of saw a little bit more gravitas. So I don't know if it was dialed in and just name recognition there. It worked eventually, but still, it was just kind of awkward for me personally.
There's actually a really, to go along with that, and I apologize for interrupting.
Oh, no worries, because I was losing my point, but it was in there.
So when you have different types of actors, and once again, we have some really great voice actors who we have interviewed on this channel. Please check out some of their interviews. They're really cool. But one of the things that stuck out about, and this is definitely not for children, but in the Batman press conference, Colin Farrell mentions that he spent 6 months with a voice acting coach to get a comically accurate New York accent. And what a lot of these more theatrical, more cinematic, live action actors is they get time to sit down and learn a voice inside and out, which is really, really lucky for many people. Voice actors don't always get that. They often have to self-practice. They often have to pay a lot of money that's not incorporated in the gig. Whereas when a voice actor comes in, they have to figure out this voice. They have to know it. They have to practice it. They have to learn it. So they are learning it personally inside and out versus having someone sit down with them for 6 months. And I feel like where Hemsworth lost for Pax is that he probably didn't do his normal, let me sit down with a voice acting coach for 6 months before this movie happened. It was, an original voice actor did the voice for Pax. They did the animation, and then Chris Hemsworth probably, do not quote me, and Chris, I apologize if I'm wrong here, but then he probably worked with the voice actor throughout the film to change that vibrato, to get better, to make it sound a little bit more Optimus Prime-y as he went on. But he, once again, he didn't have that normal voice actor talent, and he probably didn't have that normal practice that he would get in a regular live action film, which is a detriment, I think, to a lot of animated films.
Agreed. Yeah. Did it seem awkward with you when you hear the voice and you know Chris Hemsworth, it just and you know his regular spoken voice? I feel like they had to change a lot to make it work for Optimus.
Mhm.
It still worked, but it was just, that's not Hemsworth. We know what Hemsworth sounds like. So really, how did they work that? Because it just was interesting. And yeah. Whereas Tyree Henry, you know his voice, and it was solid throughout. For the most part, I think pretty much everybody other than Optimus just felt awkward to me. With that being said, again, such a delight, and it all worked at the end of the day. I had a chance, an opportunity to be a part of the press conference for Transformers 1. One of the things I wanted to mention to the audience and to you, Heather, one of the things I found hilarious was they were talking to Chris. They had Josh Cooley on it, the director, along with Chris Hemsworth as our Optimus and Tyree Henry, our Megatron. They asked both Chris and Brian who were their favorite Transformers, and they couldn't choose their own. And what was hilarious was, at least from Chris Hemsworth's side, he brought his kids to the premiere and they saw it for the first time there. He was like, "So what you think of Dad? You know, what do you think of Optimus? You know, Dad, I'm your dad. You know, Optimus." He's like, "Whatever, Dad. It's all about Cybertron." Everyone was in love with Keegan-Michael Key, even the kids of Hemsworth. It was such a delight, such a hilarious, and they were all poking fun of that. Yeah, everybody loves Bumblebee, so shout out to Keegan-Michael Key. He killed it. Brian did want to give somebody that he wanted to point out who he enjoyed the performance while watching it, and I also feel we also didn't get enough of. We got just enough, but hopefully with future films we'll get more of Alita. I gotta say, Scarlett Johansson, again, when we were talking again, the name roles, name recognition, I thought she was great too as Alita and commanded a presence, and we see her arc through the film. You know, she's this great leader to her mining team. She then loses her job because of her team, because they mess things up for her. But then she has an arc where she comes back and she can command and has a presence. That was his favorite, and I can't recall who Josh had as well, but I think again everyone was in love with Badassatron, Bumblebee, and Keegan-Michael Key. So stay tuned. I may have some notes, might work with Heather with some of the stuff we got from the press conference, but yeah, they all had a ball on this film, and hopefully things work out right. We'll see more of them giving us more G1 stories with Transformers 1. But yeah, good vibes. I recommend. I had a fun time. It was just awkward with the Hemsworth stuff, even though it came together, just because of the simple fact, as a fan of him and as an actor and his role in this, it just didn't seem right. But it was there. You know, yeah. But such a fun time with the whole family. I brought my whole family with me, and they're all looking forward to seeing it again. I can't wait to see it again. Just everything looks great, and it was just a lot of fun. That I think, again, it gave us a complete refresh on this franchise that we've gotten so material that it kind of felt stale to a degree. So yeah, and as you said, the same for you, Heather.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. I will say this. I'm still proud that trees can still get roles in films, no matter what. Alita was wonderful. I'm so glad that a tree could take on that opportunity. Once again, I'm going to say it till the chance. Scarlett, you ain't ever gonna live that shit down. I would personally have preferred anyone but you, but you know, you did what you needed to do. I'm glad that a tree can take on those roles. But other than that,
I respect that, Heather. I love Heather. Heather will tell her truth when she feels it. I feel it. Go ahead, girl.
But to be quite honest, it was a really fun movie. It was a very surprisingly good movie. My only warning with this film, and I said this I think during the weekly, there is the concept of death in this movie. And I know that a lot of parents, teach your children, do as you will. Always look up reviews, always look up ratings before you go to see a film, and only take your children to what you are comfortable with. If you're comfortable with this, heck, there were a lot of young kids in this film that absolutely loved it, and my audience that absolutely loved it. But there are some concepts of killing, of death, and it's not like really held back. It's not like bloody and flashy or anything like that. But there are these concepts of death, and there is revenge. So if you have young children, definitely do your research, do your due diligence before you take them. I would say this is more like a 5 and up, maybe even an 8 and up kind of movie.
I'd agree.
Yeah. But once again, you do you as a parent. So
correct. But completely agree. Yeah, definitely a little bit, 10 maybe. Yeah, 10, 12. They had the PG-13 for a reason, y'all. So this is PG. I'd say PG. I think G is like under where PG
G is
about
everyone. 10. PG is family. So this is definitely, once again, kids were definitely enjoying it, but there were moments where you could hear kids get really like uncomfortable at times.
I wouldn't say G at all. Yeah, I wouldn't leave kids alone to see this. Definitely PG. Watch it with family, so a parent, an adult, can explain what they may get triggered on, if you will.
Absolutely.
Well said, Heather. As always, those are our vibes. Those are our feelings on this. Can't wait to see what they're going to do more if they venture forth from this. Also one other thing to add to what Heather was saying, slight warnings. I've already said it a couple times, and it's going to be said repeatedly once your kids see this. They're no longer going to say Bumblebee anymore. They're going to say Badassatron. So just be forewarned. It's also going to stick with you. Badassatron. So get ready for if you have a problem with ass. Some people have problems saying ass. When I was recording WTOP a week ago to promote an amazing film called My Old Ass, they actually had to beep ass, which is a donkey, which is crazy. So some people have problems with the word ass. I'm letting you know, get ready for Badassatron.
A lot.
On repeat. So there you go. My pal Heather Hurt, your boy Kuya, Nerds Rule the World. All of our handles are in the description below. If you want to carry on the conversation, let's talk in the comments. Go check out Transformers 1 in theaters September 20th from Paramount. And there you go. Nerds Rule the World. All right, homie. What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Kuya, Nerds Rule the World. Just got out of the press screening for Transformers 1. Initial thoughts as I do. That joint was fire. It was lit. Man, we got an origin story with these two cats. Megatron, aka, what is his name in this? I'm forgetting, man. Megatron, we got Optimus Prime. We're getting their origin story, how it all kind of came together on Cybertron, and then where it takes off from there. It was just lit, man. There's so many things I want to say, but there's so many embargoes right now, so I don't want to get in trouble with my people at Paramount. But outstanding job. Josh Cooley, I think, kind of led everything. He came over from Pixar, now working at Paramount. My man Bobby Rubio came over, who you know from Float, also came through, and Paramount just killed it with this, man. I'm telling y'all, you're not going to want to miss this one. Probably one of my favorite Transformers films of all time, man. It's fire, y'all. I can't recommend it enough. I'm gonna have a full review when I can. Your boy Kuya, Nerds Rule the World.
Y'all, it's Heather Hurt with the NRW, where Nerds Rule the World, and I just got out of a special screening of Transformers 1 for you comic nerds out there. That's basically the year one for the Transformers team. Y'all, I am not a Transformers fan. I am a comic book person, but I'm not a Transformers fan. And this film surprised me. It was cute, it was sweet. We were laughing as an audience almost the entire time, but you also felt passion, you felt love. It was really cute. Transformers 1 comes out only in theaters on September 20th. Make sure you check it out. Our full review on the channel will be available soon. Thanks, guys. See you soon.